Hi everyone, in today's video I am transforming this purse that I got off AliExpress. TEMU also sells it, but right now it's just a regular dollhouse, we'll call it. I want to see if I can cut these windows to make them larger just to get more of that gold exposure, because I do plan on putting either my own designs or a piece of fabric behind that window just to have characters pop, because I am making this into a haunted house. So as far as the roof goes, I'm planning on painting it orange and then putting black spider webs all over it. And as a side note, in case there's some incidences where my hands are doing things and it doesn't match up to the words I'm saying, yeah, that's because I accidentally erased all the audio to this video. I'm not sure how that happened, so I'm currently re-recording it. But with that, let's get started on this project. So first things first, I'm going to be tackling those windows, and I'm not sure if I should go about it using a little scissor or an X-Acto knife, so I'm going to try both and just see what method works better. If anyone is interested in buying one of these dollhouses, I'll leave the AliExpress link down below. If it's still active, I'll also leave the TEMU link. Sometimes it's inactive, sometimes it is, but just as a heads up, the purse costs around $20. A couple of other links that I'll leave down below is for the paint markers that you'll see me use that I got off TEMU, the leather paints that you'll see me use that I got from Michaels, and the original unboxing video when I first opened up these two purses. And yep, I said two purses, because in addition to this haunted one, I'm also making a gingerbread house for Christmas. And you should see the setup I have for this haunted one. I actually have a pumpkin beer with that cinnamon sugar rim. I got haunted music going on in the background, so I'm just feeling all the spooky vibes. So now that the windows are cut out to my liking, I'm going to use this flat white acrylic leather paint. It doesn't have to be flat white if you choose to do this, it's just what I had on hand. But basically, this white paint will act as a primer for the orange, and that way the orange is really true to color. Otherwise, if you just paint orange on top of the paint, it's going to pick up some of those undertones. There's something about when I'm painting or drawing during time-lapse videos that is so satisfying. I don't know if it's because I'm taking something old and then making something new out of it, but in my opinion, it never disappoints. Okay, so as far as the under roof goes, I'm just going to paint that black. That's going to be the easiest option for everyone. The original purse does have that under roof as pink, so you would think I would do it orange, but realistically, then I'd have to like hang out with the purse while it dries to make sure that that part stays open. Because obviously if it falls down, then the orange would touch the black trim on the bag, getting orange paint on the black, and that would just be a headache. So at least if it were to fall down while drying, it would be black paint on black paint and you wouldn't even notice. Alright, so here is how our progress is looking. Everything underneath is black, so now we are good to go to move on to those windows, which, get this, I decided to use this fabric. I'm gonna cut out certain characters and these are gonna be the things behind the windows. So my original plan was to cut out little squares of the characters and put it in each of the window sections. I was thinking black background for the actual windows itself, so maybe the stars, maybe the ghosts, maybe the bats. And then for the door, I was thinking that I would cut out that cross section, so rather than it also look like windows, it instead looks like an open door, and put the pumpkin Mickey there, kind of as like a little statement piece, you know? And with that, I did end up revising my game plan just a little bit. Rather than do each little section of the window, I decided let's take these little scissors and cut underneath that cross section of the window. Let's just cut out that whole cross, then put our fabric down, and then go back and then glue that cross section right on top of it. That might sound a little confusing, but you'll get the gist of it in a sec. And after cutting all the thread underneath the cross section, I realized that this gold piece just came out, which this works out in our favor because now I have the perfect template when it comes out to cutting out our characters. So now I can kind of mentally map it out of what characters I want exactly where, how to cut it out, and boom, makes sense, perfect. And for our first window, we have this adorable moon. So I'm just gonna shove this under the cross section just to kind of see how it would look. Love that placement, perfect. So now let's cut out that cross section, glue in our fabric, tuck our fabric, and then glue that cross section back on. I will note that I do plan on going back, and certain things on this haunted house I'm gonna make glow in the dark just as a fun added touch, because who doesn't love some glow? You'll have to wait till the end to see it, but I promise it does not disappoint. It's funny how I end up on all these projects, like who just thinks to make a haunted house out of nowhere? And honestly, I don't know what sparked it. I don't know if I happened to be Googling haunted house purses and I didn't like the selection out there. I think there was like 3 different kinds. So I kind of just gave up, and maybe that's why I decided to make my own. I think this was also around the time that Barbie came out that I originally ordered these purses, because I think the houses popped up, whether it was on TEMU, and that kind of also sparked it where I'm like, huh, Barbie house or spooky ghost house. Next up on my to-do list, I'm going to take this leather cement, and anywhere that I cut that windowsill, I'm actually going to use this to fill in. It's a great filler if you ever have a leather bag that kind of has a scratch mark or some of it peeled back. It fills it in really nicely. I'm also going to use it just to fill in kind of those holes from the original threading. Is this necessary? No, but I'm going to do it. Why? Because I choose to. So just to give you an idea, this is how it looks after the fact. I just feel like it's a more solid look overall. I do this to all the windows, but I don't record it because that would just be tedious and boring, so I'm saving us all the headache on that part. So going through this process, I don't know if I will do the same thing when it comes to the gingerbread house, just because using those little scissors to cut through those little pieces of leather, they were kind of tough on my fingers. That kind of hurt with the metal of the scissors digging in. I feel like there has to be an easier way to do this. If you have any ideas, let me know. Then again, I don't know when it comes to the gingerbread house if I'll just kind of do the windows one square red, one white, one red, one white, and kind of give it a candy cane theme, but that's for another day. So here is all of our windows in all of their glory and the pain and my tuchus that they were to do. They were well worth it. Now that we're completed with this section, let's move on to painting that roof orange and then paint spider webs on it. Originally, I was just going to leave the whole roof orange. I didn't even think of the spiderweb part until after the fact when I completed painting it orange. I looked at it and I'm like, it just screams Home Depot to me. I don't know. Once it's this certain orange, I mean, look, it looks like a Home Depot, right? Like Home Depot during Halloween time. That's when I knew I had to add spiderwebs to it just to break up that bold color. But before I move on to that, while the roof dries a little bit more, I figured I would go and paint all the windows purple. That was my first idea. However, you'll see, once they were completed, I just felt like it was so blah. It needed a little pizzazz. So I ended up actually going back in with a nail polish I have and putting that glitter nail polish over all the windows, all the frames. It just helped to add the missing magic that this bag so needed. See what I'm talking about? And this nail polish I did originally get from Sally's. I forgot how much it was. I don't know if it was one of those $8 nail polishes, but it is crusty, dusty, and old. So I was working on a hope and a prayer that it would last for all the windows. Luckily it did, so I definitely got my money's worth out of that nail polish. Way back when I originally bought that nail polish, I got it for a custom Beetlejuice tumbler that impulsively I had decided to make. So I'll put photos of that here, but it stood out to me because it's like gold and purple glitter, and I feel like you don't really see that combination too often. In this frame, you can see the glitter's still on the window panes, but you see how it looks purple now? That's what I mean by certain lights it looks gold, certain lights it looks purple. I feel like it's very hocus pocus vibes, if you will. All right, now let's discuss spider webs. So I'm using one of my paint markers. This one is not from TEMU. It's just a general one from Walmart. I'll show a picture of what it actually looks like and what brand it is. But I'm just freehanding everything, winging it. If I make a mistake, I have more orange paint, so I'm not really worried about it. You'll see the completed roof at the end, but now it's the fun part where I get to draw on the back of the bag. I love this. I love bringing little characters to life. These are the paint markers from TEMU. That ghost in the corner, it started out small, but I felt like it needed to be bigger. So that's why you see me going back and adjusting it and then going back and adjusting it more until it's the exact size that I want. Also, you remember how I said I always use the white paint to prime so that way you get the true to color? That's why you'll see I will eventually paint bats and haunted eyes in the corner, and I start out with the white, but if you notice, I didn't use white primer for the jack-o'-lanterns in the middle of the back of the bag. That's because I did want some of the darker undertones for the pumpkins just to kind of keep the spookiness flowing. So in that instance, I wasn't going true to color, I was going true to color but in a darker undertone. Does that make sense? I've definitely been talking a lot in this video, so for the next 30 seconds, I'm just gonna let the music play while I color on this bag and you guys can just chill and hang out with me. Alright, now the final reveal. Ta-da! I am so happy with the way this came out. I don't think I changed anything about it. And with that, now let's look at it glowing in the dark. Ooh, so spooky. So these are the features that I made glow in the dark. One day I do want to go back and make the spider webs on the roof glow in the dark. However, I was pretty tapped out with arts and crafts for today, so these will suffice. But all right, guys, as always, I appreciate you hanging out with me. If you want, feel free to like and subscribe, and until next time, bye friends.